but I'm going to dip each of the jars. It's just to clear out any dust. They call it sterilization, but it's not a true sterilization in the fact that we're going to then, pack vegetables and things into the jars. The actual sterilization happens when we're boiling the jars in the last stage of the process.
Right, so you already have put them through the dishwasher.
I put them through the dishwasher because we've used these before, so I put them through the dishwasher. If you have a sterilization setting on your dishwasher at home, you can just run them through the dishwasher for that. For the last time you put them through, if you're using your dishwasher, you don't want to use soap or else it'll leave a flavored residue on the inside and will set off whatever you're trying to can. So the other option that you can do is you can just take your jar lifter. You always want to be very, very careful when you're dipping the jar. You want to do it sideways. If you plop it right down and straight, it'll splash back and hurt you. So you do it sideways very carefully. You just want to fill the jar with water. Make sure it gets the whole rim, and then just pour the water out. This is how I would do this for tomatoes, pickles, any jams that are over 10 minutes. And then I just flipped them a little bit with the
about 60 seconds.
yeah, you can kind of watch them, you'll see the skin start to split. Want to try one?
Sure.
Go out there at night.
Layer of tomatoes and then bringing it back up to a boil and then adding another layer, and as I do that I'm just pushing it down.
Okay. What were you saying about the cell structure?
Well, this just kind of breaks it down. It makes it more into a sauce as opposed to big chunky tomatoes. And it also makes it easier when you're boiling them in the boiling water bath. The point of the amount of time that they give you is you want the heat to penetrate all the way to the center of the jar. And so if it's broken down a little bit more, it's easier for the heat to get to the center of the jar.
It doesn't have to be stirred in or mixed in any way, it just sits in the bottom.
And you're just doing 1 teaspoon?
Yeah, a teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice.
2 tablespoons of lemon juice.
1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon. Thank you for doing that. Right now. Really good. Really hot.
It's good for a lifetime.
Never heard
I don't know if I trust it. I don't know anybody who uses it. They say they're good for a lifetime. Guaranteed for a lifetime.
It already looks great, doesn't it? It's so beautiful.
A clove is a tablespoon. Six cloves.
Nicely done.
And then you want to have pretty big so say 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. Right. I say you go with 3. Always with tomatoes I splash, and with jam. Pickling, when it's just the vinegar solution, you don't have to be as careful, but you always want to wipe around the rim, because that's where the seal is going to be created. And then you take the lid, slide it on there, 5 cups, and then put a bag of screw caps over here. No, we put it on 5 cups. These you can reuse as many times as you want. I recommend storing them in a nice dry place because mine always seem to rust. And so actually after we process them, after you take them home, you let it sit for 24 hours, check the seal, and I'll explain that later on. But then you can store them without the screw cap on. You can just take the screw cap off, throw it in a separate drawer, keep it nice and dry. Because then when you open this, the lid, you're just going to toss it in. So then we take it and we do do is finger tight. So you don't want to wrench down on it like you would if you were just throwing something in the fridge. Because the lid has to be able to move around to get the correct seal. And also air is going to be releasing from inside of the jar. So finger tight, you don't want it too loose, water will get in. So once we do that, then we can start processing. Once we get 7, we'll put them into the...
So they're not all the way submerged in water. They're just.
We'll dump them down.
Oh, you're gonna put it down.
Yeah, as soon as it starts boiling.
I see. I see.
Add a little water.
How are you gonna do that? Special. It's beautiful. Gotta love the iPhone.
Yep.
Put some water inside. Yes. Do you know the picture?
What's happening?
Taking out some of the water.
Out.
Sorry. And this is the biggest challenge is getting the amount of water right. So we'll keep this to the side because we might need it for the other pot might not have enough water in it.
But just so it doesn't overflow when you put them
Yeah.
down.
But we need it high enough so that it covers 2 inches over the top rims of the jars.
Huh. Wow, you're good.
Perfect. Okay. So then we can put a lid over that until it starts boiling.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Andrea Fox, Miss Green Quick Fixes. Alright, so it didn't make many tomatoes, but I've got them simmering in the pot, and I've got the water boiling. Well, it's probably going to take a while in this big pot, but next I'm going to put the canning rack in and sanitize the jars actually first. Okay, so I tried canning for the first time and I failed. What ended up happening is the jar fell over because I only had enough tomato for 1 jar, and so the basket was uneven, so that doesn't work, and it fell over. I also didn't have the water high enough, so I was pouring water in as it was boiling. That probably disrupted the sealing process. And so yeah, I have this jar of hot poached tomatoes. So first attempt definitely failed. I'm going to have to try this again when I have a lot more tomatoes. It was the fruit of about 3 to 4 plants, so it's a lot of tomatoes for just 1 small jar.